one, I think it's sitting in the atrium right now. What do you say to them and the governor's? I mean, do you agree with them that this budget as proposed will take out a lot of the for-profit charter schools?
No, I don't agree with that. The governor has been very adamant over the last 2 years in saying that he supports charter schools that are accountable and responsible. What he does not support and has not supported is this idea of for-profit management companies being a part of the charter school educational system or the public educational system, because as we all know, charter schools are a part of our public educational system. And so inserting the profit motive into the public educational system is where the governor, has serious concerns about. And so, no, we don't believe that that is the case. What we have done with our funding model is develop a funding model for charter schools that reflects their business model. And what I mean by that, to give you a quick example, in our funding model, there are resources for district superintendents and district treasurers. One of the reasons for that is that the state law requires that we have district superintendents and district treasurers. Those are the only two positions that local school boards are required to hire in a school district. They must have a superintendent and a school treasurer. In addition to that, those state laws were developed over years of experience and practice in the state of Ohio. We developed those laws over the years because we felt that that was the best practice or the best model, if you will, for running a school district in the state of Ohio. And so in our model, we provided resources for those two positions. Well, with a charter school, we don't have a district superintendent and a district treasurer. And so because of that, there is a difference in the funding levels, but we don't agree with that statement that we're trying to put charter schools out of business. No.
John?
Yes, sir.
There's actually a $120 million drop on apparently $617 million to $497 million. That's 20%. Do treasurers and superintendents account, and this was from the governor's office, published yesterday. And this was the figure that the Alliance for Charter Schools was saying. They said well over 100 million. Do treasurers, superintendents, are there other efficiencies that will really account for 120 million? Or does this actually represent maybe a slowing growth, or actually a decrease in the number of students that can register charter schools?
Well, let me try to answer part of that question. The numbers that are in the budget for charter schools are specifically designated for funding the number of charter school kids. Now, I know we haven't gotten to the funding part of this discussion yet, but it is a pupil-based model, right? So we're funding the actual number of kids. And we built a separate evidence-based model that includes a different complement of teachers, instructional aides, and others based upon the current business model we see in evidence in Ohio's charter school movement. In other words, we took the practice that we see out there in the marketplace, and we said, well, this is what charter schools in Ohio largely look like, and we use that evidence to help us put together our model. So the model actually is different than the model we used for the public schools.
One quick example. In our model for traditional public schools, we have an ideal size for the schools of 400 at the elementary level, I believe it's 500 at the middle school level, and 700 at the high school level. Well, and I believe I'm accurate in saying this, in our research there are only, I think, three schools, charter schools in the state that are larger than 800 students, 900 students. Most of the charter schools in the state on average are about 200 students. And so that's a dramatically different, if you will, business model than our traditional public schools around the state, because on average, our public schools at the elementary side are around 430 some odd students. So when we say a different business model, that's what we're talking about. When we look at the structure of our charter schools around the state, they are a different size, and they have different makeup than our traditional public schools.
Does the separate funding model apply to both the privately operated
I don't believe so, because and I'll have to check with Director Savady's people on this, but I believe the conversion community schools or charter schools or public charter schools that you refer to are included in the school district's, as a part of the school district model. But I don't, again, we have to check on that and get back to you.
So you're saying charter schools should be able to operate under this budget
Yes.
as they are today?
Yes.
Is it, I guess, is the reduced funding, should they just take that out of their profit? Is that what you're hoping they'll do?
I didn't say that. Basically that they should be able to operate on the dollars that we are providing from the state. Yes.
Well, I saw that this budget incorporates